Hello, and welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. What's going on, everybody? Hey, I'm Mistress Carrie. If you are new to the War Room, welcome. This is where we meet every Tuesday night at 8:30 to be a very special support group for all of us that need it, going through everything that we've been through, starting back on March 14th with WAF going off of the air and the coronavirus and Tom Brady leaving and everything else that's happened. We have found ourselves in group therapy here every Tuesday night, and we call it Cocktails in the War Room. So I'm Mistress Carrie, and this is my War Room. And what's going on? The War Room members who have been loyal and supportive call themselves the family. So what's going on, family? Let me move my camera a little bit. And if you are new to the War Room, welcome. If you are not new to the War Room, I apologize if I am telling you things you already know. But I feel like every once in a while we need to recycle and make sure that all of the new people feel as welcome as the people that have been here since the beginning. And so we need to make sure that they're kind of in on all of, the dictionary, as we have now called it. I want to thank all of the people that have Mistress Carrie backstage passes. They have been helping me put together the Cocktails in the War Room dictionary, which is the list of all of our terms and definitions. That is one of the things that I reached out to all of the backstage pass holders and kind of asked them to get the list going. Producer Mike from episode 15 of the podcast chiming in. Mana. Yeah. So that motherfucker, before I even turn on the pug cam, sent me the Mana video this morning on my text message so that it could get stuck in my head all day. And that's exactly what happened. So Mike, right there, buddy. If you are also new to the War Room, you may or may not know that we have what we affectionately call the pug cam. And my co-host that has always been my trusted sidekick here in the War Room, Wednesday, the Goth Pug, as she is known on her Instagram, always joins us here in the War Room, and she gets her own camera because why wouldn't she? So what I did last week was I added the side-by-side pug cam so that I could still talk to you guys while Wednesday was still being cute as fuck and playing with all of the toys that you guys have sent her over the last 7 months or so. I did want to show you guys this one, which is a new one that she got this week, and she got it from her Grammy. And what's really crazy is that it has this paddle body that's hard plastic, and so she can step on it. Like all of those TikTok videos of the dogs that are learning how to talk by stomping on all the buttons. And so she's been throwing this thing around and stomping on it, and she freaking loves it. Of course, once again, I will apologize for freaking out all of your dogs with all of the squeaking toys. Where's the ducking stingray? Joe wants to know. The stingray is not in here. Right now, she is obsessed with that bone that she's chewing on. She gets into these bouts where she just wants to chew on like a hard chew toy, like a bone or something for hours. And that's kind of where she's stuck right now, is that all she wants to do is chew on that bone. It's got to feel really good on her teeth or something. Jen says, lots of new toys Wednesday. What is she biting? Yeah, Jeff, it's this really hard bone that is for teething, even though I didn't think she was teething, but I guess she is. Janine says, I cannot wait to see Wednesday's Halloween costume. I know the pressure is on, and she doesn't really like a lot of stuff on her head. And so I'm going to have to get a little creative with her costume, and I haven't quite figured out what it's going to be yet, but I've already put thought into it. And if you guys have suggestions, as always, the War Room is incredibly interactive. Like I said, if you are new to the War Room, feel free to chime in. Let us all know if this is your first time joining us. You can put comments in, and I have a live feed of all of the comments that come in, which is why you see me looking off to the side sometimes, because I'm reading all of your comments as they're coming in. So, matter of fact, is there anybody that is new to the War Room that's just joined us recently? If not tonight, maybe last week or the week before? Is it a Himalayan bone? Brianna wants to know. I have no idea what it is. She just, Wednesday, can I see that for a second? See, there you go. Look at this thing. And see, she loves it. It's ridiculous. Can I have it? No? Okay, you can have it back. I'm sorry. There you go. See? Dress her up as a Muppet. Seriously, if I could. Can we talk a pug Ghost Rider? Check out Tuffy Toys. I totally will, Elizabeth. Thank you. She would make an awesome spider, Tracy. I totally concur. I watched this really funny TikTok video the other day, and it had little black pugs that with bat wings, which I thought was amazing. Why is everybody saying I'm so sorry? What's going on? Kimberly says, just joined tonight. No way, Kimberly. Seriously? Cheers to you. Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. That's awesome. As always, Kimberly, you're going to have to get caught up slowly. Copper mugs mean Moscow mules. We drink different things here in the War Room. Sometimes it's a limoncello night for me. Sometimes my now famous buddy Fernandez makes me his amazing sangria. Sorry for your loss. It looks like a nylabone. I made it, says David. A butterfly. Mark wants to know how the hubby is. The hubby is still stateside right now, and that could change next week. I really don't exactly know what's going on, but he's still stateside right now, which is amazing. And stateside means same time zone, because once he is gone on this deployment, the time zones are going to make it really difficult for us to kind of be able to keep in touch as regularly as we do now, because there's going to be a significant time difference. So I appreciate you asking, but the hubby is still in the States. Brianna, thanks for the clarification. Keith lost his dad recently. For Kimberly and all of the other people that are new to the War Room, this is also a place where people have come to look for support and to just be able to vent on some things that are going on. It's something that we've talked about for so long here in the War Room. Keith losing his dad in a time where it's really hard to mourn and grieve properly for our loved ones, because you're limited to capacity in houses of worship. There, you can't have contact at the wake when you would normally be hugging people and they could be consoling you. And Richard, no way, getting over the COVID, doing my best to catch up. So a lot of you may remember Richard Fitz Jr., who is a Gold Star son and a friend of the show. I didn't know that you got COVID, Richard. Are you okay? How bad was it for you? I think part of the reason why it's been so hard is that some people are just completely not affected by the coronavirus. They might test positive because they had to go and get tested, but they didn't even have any symptoms. And other people have obviously died. I mean, we hit 200,000 fatalities in the United States. And months ago, you guys will remember, me in tears with the projections that it could get up to 120,000 fatalities in the United States. And we've already hit 200,000, which, just to put it into perspective, imagine dropping a bomb on a full Gillette Stadium and killing everyone inside 3 times and then killing everyone at the DCU Center. That's how many people. It's mind-blowing to me. So Richard, we're all sending you our love, and hopefully you're feeling better and kind of on the other side of this. And Keith, we're definitely sending you all of our love and condolences to you and your family and all of your loved ones for the passing of your dad. That's one of the reasons why we get together in the War Room every Tuesday night. It really turned out to be a great way for us to kind of get together without being able to get together, and just to talk about what's going on. And Michelle says, I have a friend who tested positive for COVID-19 and has pneumonia, which is really, I mean, it's unbelievable. And people's experiences with this are so different. And especially as schools are getting back in session and kids are going back to school, and other people, are struggling with the idea of whether or not they are going to send their kids to school, and are they going to homeschool? It's just, there's so much going on. Any new shirts coming? Marina wants to know. Yes. I will tell you that it is extremely involved. when you are building an online store, which is what I'm doing. So the original Cocktails in the War Room t-shirts that we did for the fundraiser back in May, I sold them on PayPal, which is a really crude and simple way for us to sell those shirts and donate the proceeds. What I'm doing now is building a whole website with a whole online store that can showcase all of the products that we have that can help maintain an inventory for me. I can tell you, because we are taking steps forward and it's getting closer. I ordered and just received yesterday all of the postage equipment. So I'll be able to get all of the postage paid on my own. And so I can just drop off stuff at the post office or ask the mailman to take it all. But I'll be able to process all of the postage right here instead of waiting in line and getting it all done at the post office. So that is underway. And part of the reason why it's taking so long is because I started a company, I have to have a way to process the credit cards, which means you have to apply for the companies to be able to process the credit cards instead of going through PayPal, who takes a significant amount of money per purchase. I'm trying to be able to cut down on all of those fees and stuff. And so it's a pretty in-depth process. I think for anyone that owns their own business, that has an online store, feel free to chime in on the comments that it's pretty involved. I can tell you that once it's all up and running and done, it's going to be amazing. And I'm going to be able to add new products all the time. I'm going to be able to give discount codes for individual pieces of merchandise or everything in your shopping cart to people that have Mistress Carrie backstage passes. Hello from Kansas, David says. Hello. So the reason why it's taking so long isn't because we're not putting the effort in. Seriously, between my web designer and webmaster, the credit card authorization company, the mock-ups of all of the products and sourcing and the production of all the products, it's pretty involved, but I'm working on it and it's coming sooner than later. But I can tell you that the postage equipment arrived, which was pretty cool. I love that you guys are doing roll calls and trying to figure out, the postal workers miss me. I was at the post office today, so they don't miss me that much. I love that you guys are doing the roll call, trying to find out where everybody is. Amanda, you're right. It has been a shitty 2020. New Hampshire checking in, Kansas checking in. Shipping gives me anxiety. It's why I don't sell off of eBay. Brianna, I'm telling you, once I get all of this done, I'm going to be able to hold a class for anybody that wants to have an Etsy store or to sell stuff on eBay, because I am seriously putting a lot of work into this. And for people that do run their own home businesses, I give you a lot of credit. Getting it started is a lot of work. And from what everybody's told me, once you get it up and running, it's easy to maintain. David May is in Hawaii. What's up? Las Vegas, says Tony. Rhode Island, says Marino. And Amanda. Kentucky, says Kevin. Northwestern Massachusetts, says Thomas. This is pretty cool. I love that you guys are all checking in. Hello, David from Hawaii, says Michelle. This is awesome. Danielle, you haven't missed much yet. You're all good. So anyway, the new merchandise is coming, I promise. We're definitely getting closer. I can't wait to have the website up. I will tell you, manage your expectations. My first priority is getting the website up and getting the store up and running. Then I have to find a way to chronicle and archive on the website the last 29 years of my life with all of the photos and audio and videos, and obviously then moving forward with a new blog, which I'm working on, additions to the podcast, which I'm working on, video content, which I'm working on and hopefully going to expand in 2021. So Derek says, I fucking love the pug cam. I know. I'm kind of digging on this view so you guys can watch her while I'm still talking to you. It feels really weird in this when you guys are just watching her and I'm kind of just this ghost voice in the machine. But I kind of love this one where you guys can watch Wednesday whenever you want and still see me. So I need those zippered hoodies. I know, Karen, trust me. The zippered ones are the best, and I'm definitely going to make them. They're on the list of the first products that are getting produced. Trust me. And I will tell you that my goal was to have it up and running by this time. And I didn't foresee getting married. I did not foresee all of the craziness that's kind of happened by the delay in my husband's deployment and all of the other things. So it definitely has kind of made things a little bit squirrely, but I can tell you that we are going to have the store up and running and at full capacity to be able to really dive in on holiday shopping stuff. I'm hoping to get the store up and running in early to mid-October. My goal was my birthday on the 1st, but if I can get up and running by mid-October, that would be great. But at the very, very least, by the time we get into holiday shopping, you guys are going to be able to send Mistress Carrie packages to all of your friends and family that live around the country, or you'll be able to ask for cool stuff out of the merch store for Christmas or Hanukkah or, whatever, Festivus, whatever holidays you celebrate, you'll be able to celebrate with Mistress Carrie gear. And we are working on having a Wednesday kind of outlet within the Mistress Carrie online store to be able to don't lick the couch. That's not nice. To be able to sell dog merchandise as well. So trust me, we're working on all of it. So I'm glad you guys like the pug cam. Thanks for the cameo. Mark had a blast skydiving. Oh my God. Okay. So the cameo videos that I've been doing lately, and I know I have another video that I have to film today, which I haven't done yet, have been so much fun. So Lindsay asked me to make a video for Mark because for his birthday, Lindsay made a reservation for Mark to go skydiving, and he had no idea. And Mark went skydiving yesterday. Lindsay, if you don't mind, throw some more details up in your comments because I'm dying to know, did you go to Jumptown? How did he like it? Is he addicted, or is he a one and done guy that checked it off the bucket list? Did the video actually did you let the video actually tell him that he was going? Is that how you notified him? Oh my God, Mistress Carrie Ugly Sweaters, Ricky. Oh, that would be amazing. Oh my God. Thongs for the ladies, says Mark Bishop. Kimberly, yes, I got married. How did you not know? Oh wait, is this your first night in the war room? Yeah, I got engaged and 9 days later got married. Shit happens. It's amazing. We had a really quick wedding. No, I'm not pregnant. It was not a shotgun wedding. But yes, I'll show you my ring. Everybody else has seen it already. It's got skulls in it and a black diamond, and I'm totally in love with it. And it was a beautiful day, and I'm super happy. So it's the one good thing that's come out of 2020 so far. What's up, Hamma? How are you? Let's see. Woohoo. Skydiving is awesome. Even funnier when the hubby wears the ugly sweaters. I agree. So I'm working on the store. I know you guys are asking, and I'm so excited that you guys are excited about it. Just know that I'm working super hard, and it's going to be beautiful. What's the matter, Wednesday? What is it? Hi. Shit definitely happens. I could use some shit happening over here, says Krista. DT in the house. What's up, David? Anybody else from the AAF crew attend the wedding or just Shu? There were a lot of behind the scenes people that came to the wedding. So it wasn't like Isaiah was there and my old boss, Joe, the program director. A lot of other people were invited, but either didn't come because I didn't give them a ton of notice or because of COVID concerns. But there were definitely people from the station there. But, there were a lot of even members of my own family that couldn't be here. They either had our vacation plans that were already prepaid that couldn't be canceled. There was just so much stuff going on that, we kind of sprung it on everybody. So, it's okay though. Everybody's been super amazing, and we've gotten some amazing wedding cards and gifts. And Brianna says, can you still use the property of Mistress Carrie slogan? Because we're here for it. Hell yeah, Brianna. Absolutely. Oh, and you forgot to invite Josh Dolan, says Donna. So I did make an appearance recently on the Breaking the Ice podcast. And that's when I realized that when I sent out the invitations, I forgot to add Josh Dolan to the list. And I was upset that he didn't come to the wedding. And then I found out that I'd never invited him. I'm still sad Sully wasn't your flower girl or your ring bearer. No, he wasn't. Trying to get to jump maybe this weekend. Totally stoked, says Renee. Now is a really good time to book a skydive. It's the temperatures are so much nicer. It can get chilly up there, but you wear the jumpsuit and some gloves and you're fine. But the foliage, towards the end of this month or in early October is just so beautiful. So if you haven't made a skydiving trip or reservation, speaking of that, I want to thank our sponsors this week, not only for Cocktails in the War Room, but also for this episode of the podcast that we're going to talk about, Jumptown Skydiving in Orange, Massachusetts, where I learned how to skydive and made my first jump in 1998. If you listen to the Uncle Froggy episode of the podcast, he actually made a jump there when he got home from Vietnam. It's been a commercial and recreational skydiving facility since 1959, which is when recreational skydiving started here in the United States, and it started at Jumptown, Massachusetts, actually, which is pretty awesome. So, and also Latini Creative Solutions at latinicreative.com, who are hard at work helping me design a lot of the merchandise that's going into the Mistress Carrie online store. So I want to make sure that I thank our sponsors this week. Today is National Voter Registration Day, which is why I wore my vote shirt today. So this is not a political statement in any way, shape, or form, but the last presidential election, 34% of eligible voters didn't vote in the United States. And I am a firm believer that we all need to take an active role in our democracy and in this republic. And I get really offended when people don't vote when they can, because generations of Americans have died fighting for that right. The process in the United States works better when we all have a say. And so I get really upset when people complain about how shitty things are, but they don't do anything to get involved and change it. So please vote. However you're going to vote, just make sure that you're voting your conscience and make sure that you are educated in casting that ballot and that you've done your research. That's the responsibility that we have. It's actually something I talk about in episode 16 of the podcast, which goes live tomorrow or technically tonight at midnight. And I will get into announcing who's going to be the guest on that podcast coming up. But make sure that you guys are voting. So David says the Drop Zone out in Paris Valley, California does night dives on Halloween. David, all drop zones do night jumps actually, because when you get to a certain license level, night jumps are required. I have not done my night jumps yet to get my next level of license, but they're a requirement. Not only are you required to do a solo skydive, but you're also required to do a formation skydive after sunset. And they normally do them on nights of full moons because obviously it's easier to see. But the skydivers wear strobe lights per FAA regulations. They also wear glow sticks to make it easier to read the altimeters. And then the landing area is usually surrounded by cars with their headlights on that are facing in the direction of the wind, so that when you're up under canopy, you can look down and because you can't see the wind socks, to make it easier for you to land into the wind. So, so all skydivers, technically, when you get to a certain license level, have to make night jumps. And I have done costume jumps and they are a freaking blast. So, the Moscow Mule tastes fantastic. All right. We have officially lost my co-host. I don't know where she is. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about before we get into the podcast and stuff, and again, this isn't a political thing, but I definitely want to recognize the passing of a legend. And she's not just a legend for women. I think a lot of guys would be surprised at how she fought for the rights of men. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a hero of mine. I wouldn't be able to do any of the things that I do, starting my company or owning a home, any of those things, if it wasn't for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. There are a lot of landmark cases that have her fingerprints all over it, including women not being able to be fired for getting pregnant. which actually she represented a pregnant Air Force airman who was a woman, obviously. State-funded schools must admit women, including military academies. I put the dates on some of these cases because it was shocking to me that these aren't old cases. I mean, that was in 1996. That it's illegal to strip search kids at school. That case was in 2009 after they looked in the underwear of a 13-year-old girl at school because someone said she was selling drugs. And they ruled that it violated her Fourth Amendment rights to illegal search and seizures. Women having financial independence, including, this is insane, women being able to have bank accounts, credit cards, taking out loans, and owning property without a male cosigner. That law, that court case happened after I was born. Just that you couldn't go and get a bank account as a woman without having a man. I mean, that's Saudi Arabia shit. I couldn't believe that that case was in 1974. Also, juries must include women. That case was in 1979. But one of the ways that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was able to call attention to gender disparity was by taking on male clients. And a lot of men don't realize the landmark cases she won on behalf of men. For instance, she took a client that was an unmarried man who took care of his elderly mother. And because caretaking was viewed as a woman's responsibility, he was not able to access any of the benefits from the government for caring for his ailing mother because he wasn't married. Obviously, Ruth Bader Ginsburg won that case, and it changed everything. She also took the case of a man whose wife died in childbirth, and he was trying to get his dead wife's Social Security so that he could help provide for the other children they already had. And because he was a man, they wouldn't give him access to his wife's Social Security. However, if a woman lost her husband, she got access to the husband's Social Security. Again, this was a case that she took fighting for men's equal rights, and she won that case. And in winning those cases, by the way, in 1968, it showed that gender bias had no place in American law. And so if it wasn't fair for men to have their rights restricted because of the fact that they were male, it automatically proved that women's rights shouldn't be restricted for the simple fact that they were female. And I think Renee says, yep, my mom couldn't buy her first home without my grandfather's signature. These cases, they're crazy to me that some of these happened in my lifetime and in all of our lifetimes. And I think that so many men, I've been having a lot of conversations with a lot of the men in my life. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg is viewed so much as a female and kind of feminist icon. But I don't think that men realize how many cases she took to the court and how many times she fought for the equal rights of men. So I wanted to bring that up, and I wanted to pay homage to the notorious RBG because in all of our lives, we have heroes, and she was one of mine. And so may her memory be a blessing is the proper term, I was told, because she was Jewish, and that is what you were supposed to say. So may her memory be a blessing. Cheers, everybody. So, yeah, Jeff, exactly. You're a guy. Like, imagine, I know several men who have lost their wives and have had to be single dads. And imagine being told that you could not get access to your dead wife's Social Security or any of her benefits or any of that stuff. I mean, it blows my mind. They did not do her in the movie. Velma dressed up like her for Halloween in the movie. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to bring that up. All right. I wanted to share some pictures of the week as well. I love showing you guys pictures. This is Wednesday and I in the garden the other day. That's Wednesday eating my green bean plants. and me eating tomatoes out of the garden because the garden is still killing it right now. I got this over the weekend and wanted to show you guys. So I had some friends arrive at the house. That thing is full size. It's over 6 feet long, a fully upholstered, heavy coffin. So friends of a friend had built this, I guess, as some kind of amazing Halloween decoration and then sold their house and had to get rid of it and they were going to break it apart. And a mutual friend said, hey, Mistress Carrie would probably totally love that. And they were like, oh my God, do you know how to get in touch with her? Because we would love to give it to her. And so over the weekend, a pickup truck pulled into my driveway and delivered that into my garage. So I have this new coffin and I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but it's freaking awesome. And it's fully upholstered on the inside and it's amazing. So I wanted to show it to you guys because it rules. I wanted to show you guys, which it could be quite possibly the best tasting apple pie I've ever made in my life. It doesn't look as pretty cooked as it did raw. Some of the crust kind of popped holes in it and stuff. But let me tell you, like, I don't want to break my arm patting myself on the back, but this pie was so freaking delicious. I couldn't even stand myself. So I wanted to brag about my pie. Wait, that sounded dirty. And then the last set of pictures I wanted to show you guys is I'm still pulling. Look at the amount of tomatoes. I don't know about you guys, but I am pulling tomatoes out of my garden like crazy. And so I made another batch of homemade tomato sauce with all of the veggies that's coming out of the garden and all the herbs as well. And I think I've got enough tomato sauce to last me till spring. Upping the Halloween game big time. Exactly. Hey, that's not a blueberry cobbler. Put it up in the war room, says Michelle. I don't have room in the war room. Richard says our garden was devastated by groundhogs. Suffice to say, the issue was dealt with. Here, gopher, 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 gopher. Did you have ice cream, Diva wants to know? Yes, I had ice cream with that pie, and it was friggin' delicious. What kind of apples? You know what I like to do? This is an old... Like anybody that grew up in an old Italian family, especially with grandparents that lived through the Depression, they save everything. They don't waste anything. And so I'm one of those people that goes to the apple orchards and buys the drops and the seconds that are way cheaper than the beautiful apples that they put through the polisher. And so I always go and dig through the assorted boxes of all of the seconds, all of the ugly ones, because I don't care what they look like. I'm not taking a photo shoot with the apples. I'm cutting them up and baking them. And so I always put a mixture of them in there. I put usually like one Red Delicious in there. I definitely put Macauan apples in there. I sometimes will put a Golden Delicious in there too. I definitely put Macintosh in there, Cortland. I throw everything in there. And it always comes out tasting really good. I know other people that are super meticulous about their apple pies and they only use Granny Smith or whatever, but I used a mixture of all different kinds of stuff and it was magnifique, as they say. Okay, let's talk about the podcast recap and episode 15, which was the AAF to Afghanistan 9 years later episode. I know producer Mike is in the war room with us tonight. The episode had already come out when we joined each other in the war room this past Wednesday because I was unavailable this past Tuesday. So I want to, yes, apple cobbler Joe. So I wanted to talk to you guys about episode 15. And see what you guys thought about the stories that we told and kind of how the planning of the Afghanistan trip in 2011 got put together. And if you guys had any questions or if you learned anything new and just to hear what you guys thought about the episode, I can tell you that producer Mike is going to join us in the war room. We already talked about it. And whether he comes in here live or whether we do it via Skype, we'll figure all of that out. But he is definitely going to join us in the war room soon. Elsa says the podcast was awesome. Shannon says I loved it. That was legit one of my favorite episodes. It was so interesting and so moving, says Eric. Thank you very much. What an awesome episode, says Debbie. I can't believe at the last minute you were almost not able to go, says Danielle. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the last minute. It was like 6 weeks out or something. But I mean, that was last minute. And it just goes to show part of the reason why I wanted to talk about that stuff is I really want to be able to give credit where credit is due, and to be able to really shine a light on all the crazy shit that you heard us do on WAF over the years. That didn't happen just because me or Hillman or anybody just jumped on the air and said, hey, we're going to make it happen. There's a whole line of people that were behind the scenes working to make things happen. And also, there had to be bosses willing to sign off on it and literally put their balls on the block to say, okay, I believe you're going to do this the right way. I believe, everything is going to work out. And so when you have bosses that from the beginning green light it because they believe in you, they deserve credit. And then when you have bosses that are total fucking assholes, they deserve what they get. So I wanted to bring that up because I wanted you guys to know that there were people fighting all the way up the corporate ladder to make those trips happen. Karen says, loved it. The airport story was nerve-wracking. I'll tell you, Karen, that is one of the most scary experiences that I have ever had in my life. I think Mike would say the same. It's probably the most scared that I was in the entire time we were in Afghanistan. Frank says, I loved episode 15. Would you do it again? Dondi says 100%. I had a third trip overseas planned in 2017, and that got pulled actually by the military 4 days before I was supposed to leave. Shannon says, I think I went to school with producer Mike. Not sure. Would you go back? 100%. I would go back tomorrow. I am safer embedded with our troops overseas than I am walking down the street in the United States. And those trips were life-changing. I think you could tell just by listening to the episode. But also, they were really eye-opening for me and taught me a lot about how our military functions, how things can get fucked up because the military is so big, what little gains that we're making, person to person, the struggles of reintegration for our military when they come home, the difficulties with their families, and how they struggle when our military members are deployed overseas for long periods of time. My son listened while you were telling the return airport story and couldn't believe that you almost didn't make it home. Yeah, Mike and I were scared. I'm going to try and dig out some of those pictures, but if you go to my Facebook page and go into the photo albums, there's an AAF to Afghanistan photo album, and there's also a Boston to Baghdad photo album on the Mistress Carrie Facebook page, and you can check out a bunch of the pictures. Let's see. Come visit us in Korea, Leon says. I would love to. Are you kidding me? Let's see. What happened to Rhode Island radio? BRU is gone. AAF's gone. Mark says sold to Jesus Radio. K-Love bought them both. AAF this past February, BRU 18 months ago. Yeah, so it's crazy that some people are still finding out about all of this stuff, and it's been so long, but it seems like it was yesterday at the same time. Producer Mike says he'd do it again in a heartbeat. See, it's not just me. So yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that you guys loved the episode. I apologize that it was so long. And what's crazy is that after Mike and I finished the episode, we realized all of the other things we didn't talk about, like the trips to the schools and just all of the other things that we just couldn't even fit in 3 hours. So we'll talk about all of that stuff when he joins us in the war room for an after action report. But yeah, I'm just so happy that you guys love the episode, and I'm super proud of those trips, as you can tell, because I bring them up all the time. But I really wanted Mike to be able to have, again, things like that don't happen when you're by yourself. And I really wanted to be able to put the spotlight on Mike because I couldn't have gone and done that without him. I could not have pulled off those trips and generated all of the content and the interviews and the video and the pictures and all the things that we did. The palaces, exactly, Mike. The goat that we ate. I mean, there's so much stuff that we just didn't talk about. We need to make a list of everything we forgot, and then we need to make sure we don't get too drunk in the war room so that we remember to talk about them. And I can't wait for you guys to meet Mike in person. So we're definitely going to get that scheduled. It was perfect length. I listened to it during my whole trip to and from Boston. Well, that's fantastic, Eric. That makes me happy. Agreed. It went by so fast for me. I wanted it to be longer. Let's see. You'll have to do a bonus podcast with producer Mike and talk about the stuff that you didn't talk about. Well, Ash, we're going to do it in the war room so that you guys can see him as well. An after action report, make sure it's in a PowerPoint, says David. An after action report is what we call a podcast episode when we do interviews live in the war room. And then I take the audio from those interviews and put it up as a bonus podcast episode for people that don't join us in the war room or can't, but want to listen to the interviews that we do while they're driving or something. And so the ones that we've already done with Mike Mushak from Stained and St. Asonia, Mark LaBelle, from Dirty Honey. I mean, we've definitely done, even when Mike Shue joined us here in the war room, whenever we do interviews in the war room, I always put the audio from those interviews up as bonus episodes of the podcast so that people that listen to the podcast don't miss anything. So perfect length. That's what she said William. What did the stuntman drink, or what was it called? The Daredevil. Melissa, a stuntman shot, and you can blame McConvey for this one, is a shot of tequila, except you snort the line of salt, do the shot, and then you squirt the lemon in your eye rather than sucking on the lemon wedge after you do the shot of tequila. If you order stuntmen for people, you're an asshole. Whoever came up with the idea of the stuntman shot is an asshole. And McConvey was an asshole for making Mike and I do them in an Irish pub in Bahrain. But we did them anyway. So, yeah, there you go. Coming home, I had to decompress and readjust just like you. Trivial shit bothering people pisses you off to no end. Yeah. So that's why we wanted to do the trip. And that's why we wanted to go back and revisit all of that stuff for the podcast. So, and that is why I'm super excited for you guys to find out who was on episode 16 of the podcast, because I think you guys are really going to love this. Again, it's a little bit different than what we're normally used to. But I really want to be able to spread my wings and talk to really interesting people in the podcast. And my friend John is definitely one of those people. So tonight at midnight, episode 16 goes live, and I am going to introduce you guys to John Guarnieri. John is the director of security for the band Shinedown. He is the COO for a company called Silver Spear Security, which is a private security firm. And John is also a former Secret Service agent that was on presidential detail for 7 years. And I thought John would be a perfect person to talk about, or to talk to about everything that's going on right now. And I don't just mean the touring industry and the entertainment industry at large, but he actually was on the campaign trail with President Obama when he was running for his second term. So if anyone can shed light on what it's like behind the scenes with a sitting president on the campaign trail during a contentious election cycle, John can. And we talked about everything. We talked about what it's like to do protection details for rock stars versus a president. He talked a lot about, obviously carefully with what he's allowed to talk about, but just about what it was like to work in the White House every day and some of the special kinds of historical moments in the White House that he got to see and take part of, and how they come up with the first family's code names. It's just really interesting. And, you know, you don't bump into former Secret Service agents often. And there's a whole part of the Secret Service that just handles counterfeit currency. But to actually talk to someone that was on presidential protection detail in the White House, I just was peppering him with questions about stuff. So we definitely got in depth about a lot of the Secret Service stuff, the training. He's a graduate of Norwich University. He's also from Massachusetts, born and raised, which is also really cool because he talked about meeting the Boston championship teams at the White House when they visited Obama. And it was really interesting to hear his take on a lot of that stuff. But then to hear his take on the new drive-in concerts and what is required putting together big festival shows and the entertainment business as a whole right now, and all of the people that are working behind the scenes trying to figure out how to bring touring bands back. And, just he's also the person that if you guys were at the Xfinity Center a couple years ago when Shinedown and Godsmack co-headlined, and the Shinedown guys invited me up on the stage to sing Simple Man to me with the whole crowd that made me cry, John was the one that got me out to where I needed to be and was part of the surprise. David says, this sounds like it could be an education-filled episode. It is, but not in a boring way. He's a super smart guy. I also asked him a lot of questions about personal security for just the average everyday person that is worried about the way that our country is right now, worried about protecting your kids and your household with, whatever violence could come from these elections and the protests. And there was a lot of information in there as well about women protecting themselves when you're out in public, especially late night by yourself, how to barricade your house. And, we talked a lot about the difference between paranoia and preparedness. And he's a security expert. He also does a lot of private estate security. His company does maritime security. They do cybersecurity. I mean, he really is a security expert in all senses of the word. And the fact that he used to protect the president and now he protects Brent Smith and Zach and Eric and Barry, all of those guys. I love the fact that this is what he does for work now. And, he was talking about being a protection detail for Roger Daltrey and being on tour with Nickelback. And I think you guys are really going to like this episode. The fact that he was born in Haverhill and he talks about all of the different places that he grew up around Massachusetts, moving around. We breed badasses here in Mass, says Brianna. Hell yeah. Wood stove going has been in September, Thomas says. So you guys are, I guess, a little chilly in the house. I haven't lit my wood stoves yet. I'm not giving in yet. But yeah, I think that you guys are really going to love this. Brianna says, I love the types of podcasts you do. Such a cool take on unusual things about the rock and military world. Well, that's one of the things. And I think Mike and Joe that went on the trips overseas with me can attest to as well, is that there's such a chasm between families that are affected by the fact that we've been at war for almost 20 years and the general populace of the United States. And we need to bring that closer together. And there's no better way to do it than by having conversations with people that, are including everyone in the conversation. I thought that it was, sorry, I had something on the microphone. I think it's really interesting to hear from a security expert that protects rock stars on what it's like in the inner workings of being on a protection detail for the president in the White House. I asked him a lot of questions about Secret Service representation in the entertainment industry, movies and television shows, and what's accurate and what's not. I'm not going to give all of it away because I want you guys to listen to the episode. But I think you guys are really going to like this. And again, part of the reason when I announced this podcast wasn't just to interview the bands, but it was to interview the people that make the bands be able to do what they do. The producers, the engineers, the lighting people, the tour managers, the security guys, the people that work at the venues, the people behind the technology. These are the people that are part of this machine, and all of the bands will tell you they can't pull off anything they pull off without the crews all being there. And if you listen to the Evanescence episode, we actually reference the story that Will and Troy told about the riot in Mexico at that festival show last October, and about the barricades not holding up. And John and I talked about that and about how hard it is to be the security guy, that when you're telling people to move or get out of the way or get down or whatever, that the security guys are the ones that we're all flipping off like, fuck you, don't make me go through security. Don't tell me I can't go places. Don't make me move, whatever. But then when something goes wrong, the security guards are the ones that are going to be there to solve the problem. I mean, they caused a riot at that festival show in Mexico because Evanescence and Slipknot canceled because the barricades weren't going to hold people back. And people rioted over that. But had they gone on with the concert, I mean, Will and Troy even talked about it in episode 14. They're like, people would have gotten hurt during Evanescence and people would have died in a stampede during Slipknot. Anyone that's ever been to a Slipknot show knows that once you get into that pit, if you don't want to be there, you're in a bad place. And if you're in an outdoor festival with 80,000 people and none of the barricades are working and you don't want to be where you are, you're fucked. And it was the security guards that had to make that tough decision to pull the plug on the show. David wants to know, Carrie, did you get my package? Nope. I went to the mail today and there was nothing in there. So no, I did not get your package, David. And now I'm wondering what it is because I didn't get it last week either. And you asked me about it then too. Melissa says, thank you for doing the podcast and giving your side of the events. It was amazing to listen and it sounded like a trip of a lifetime. We've talking about Afghanistan. It totally was. Richard said it's amazing what that unit truly started and how much has been handed down to today's special operations into the civilian world. I'm assuming you're talking about the Uncle Froggy episode. I feel bad for my former coworkers at the Mullins Center. So many are furloughed right now and the part-timers have no hours, says Scott. And that's one of the things that John and I talked about as well is how much of the American economy is affected by the entertainment industry. Will talked about it in the Evanescence episode. It is America's greatest import. You can run the numbers on our technology. You can run the numbers on our natural resources and oil. You can run the numbers on all of the different things that the United States exports to the rest of the world. But what makes the most money is our culture, our movies, our music, our television, our culture, our fashion. And these are all things that right now are completely shut down. And most Americans, and John and I talk about this, would think, oh, those things aren't important in the grand scheme of things. You know, when you see the Emmy Awards or the Academy Awards and people see actors or actresses that are making political statements and people are like, shut up and act, or sports too, shut up and dribble or whatever. Our economy wouldn't be what it is without all of those things. And the number of people, the number of union workers, the number of people that are in positions, whether they be police, fire, utilities, the number of the people selling the merch, the people selling the concessions. I mean, the truck drivers, the Teamsters, just the number of people that are employed because of the film, television, and music industry in the United States. And this industry was the first one to get shut down and is going to be the last one to get turned back on. And the number of people, all people see is the super famous rock stars and the super famous actors and actresses who have millions and billions of dollars, and it's not affecting them at all. But that's like the top 1%. It's like athletes, like, there's the top 1%, but there's all of the people that work in the sports business that aren't, Tom Brady. I mean, there's so many people. So I think it's a really interesting discussion. And I think that no matter what it is you're looking to get out of this conversation, you're going to find something, whether it be advice about protecting yourself, whether it be if you're a presidential historian, like a history buff, just hearing what it was like to kind of walk around and be an observer of history, protecting the president. Sarah says, friends of mine are riggers and it's not good right now. Exactly. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. But I think he's a fascinating guy. He's super conversational and just relaxed and really open and honest about how he feels. And I think you guys are going to love him. And I can't wait to talk about the episode next week and to find out what you guys think. So that episode goes live at midnight tonight. So if you have not yet subscribed to the Mistress Carrie podcast, these are all of the places that you can do so. And there are some additions. So right off the bat, Apple, Google, Spotify, radio.com, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Deezer, Overcast, Radio Public, TuneIn, Pocket Cast, Pandora, and Amazon. Those we all announced last week. Well, Amazon was the new addition last week. However, the podcast has also been picked up by the two biggest podcast suppliers in India as well, which is insane to me that people are now listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast in India. So I'm going to need some people to help me with the pronunciations on these. I'm assuming Ghana and GeoSaven. Is that how you say that? I don't even know, but they got the podcast up. So can somebody please help me with the pronunciation of these? But they are the biggest podcast distributors in India, and they have now picked up the Mistress Carrie podcast as well. And I am super excited about that. So welcome to the family. Last week, we talked about all of the countries. Yes, India is in there, and we are still going strong with 86 countries that have joined the Mistress Carrie podcast family. And I am super excited about that. So thank you guys for helping to spread the word. And if you know people that are in the security business, if you know people that have worked for the Secret Service, just anybody that you think might be interested in episode 16, make sure you share it, because I'm really proud of this episode. And I think you guys are going to love getting to know John. All right, I want to talk about some music headlines before we end the episode tonight, because there's a lot of stuff going on. Geoff Tate, you guys know Queensryche is one of my favorite all-time bands. And I got to thank one of the Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass holders, because they have been a wealth of information and knowledge. And now they're starting to send me stories to make sure that I don't miss things when I come into the War Room to talk about music headlines and stuff. Geoff Tate is doing the entire Queensryche Empire album on a live stream on the 26th, which you can find all the details up on his Facebook page, which is pretty awesome. Nirvana's In Utero album turned 27 yesterday, which is insane. Five Finger Death Punch announced their greatest hits album, the second edition of A Decade of Destruction. That is going to come out very soon, and it's going to have 5 previously unheard songs on it. Corey Taylor, his For 'Em or Against 'Em live stream concert is coming up on October 2nd, and you can get your tickets and watch that at CoreyTaylor.com. Sevendust also has their live concert stream, which is coming out on October 23rd. John Lennon's 80th birthday celebration is coming up, and it is going to feature Peter Gabriel. You guys know what a huge Beatles fan I am. And people have always asked me what's the best concert I've ever been to, and I say Woodstock 94. It was amazing. And the last person to play at Woodstock in 94 was Peter Gabriel. And it's one of the best live performances I have ever seen in my life. So Peter Gabriel is going to be one of the many artists that is going to be paying tribute to what would have been John Lennon's 80th birthday. And the best branding award goes to the guys from Anthrax. Seriously. When there was that Anthrax outbreak in the early 2000s, the guys came up to the studio and we got them to wear like N95 masks and take pictures with us. Anthrax Stop Spreading the Disease hand sanitizer is coming out to commemorate the 35th anniversary of their 1985 album, Spread the Disease. If that is not marketing fucking genius, I don't know what is. So cheers to the guys in Anthrax who have taken so much shit over the years for naming their band that, and they just keep finding a way to just go. And I love it. So you can get the Anthrax Stop Spreading the Disease hand sanitizer to commemorate the 35th anniversary of Spread the Disease, which is fucking hilarious and genius. People asking about the mail call. There wasn't anything in the mail call this week, but I'll give you the address. So there it is. If you want to send anything or whatever, obviously you don't have to, but there it is. And you can always ask people in the comments. And it's always up in the comments as well. If today is your birthday, cheers to you. Happy birthday. We always celebrate birthdays here in the War Room. Tony Basil, the hey, Mickey, you're so fun, you blow my mind. She was born on this date, as was David Coverdale, who, let me tell you what, he's got that British thing going on, but I've interviewed him a couple of times. That guy could charm the pants off Mother Teresa. It's unbelievable. He is so charming in an unnerving way. Like, it's almost like he puts you in this trance. I've interviewed a lot of people, and he is one of those people where it's just enough chivalry and just enough flirtation and just enough politeness where you're just like, Fuck. I love this guy. So happy birthday to David Coverdale. Debbie Boone was also born on this date. Nick Cave was born on this date. Peter Jones from Public Image Limited was born on this date. And Joan Jett is 62 years old today. And she was the first rock star that I met in the halls of WAAF, I think a month or two into my internship in the summer of 1991. And I met her in the hall. She came in wearing black jeans and black motorcycle boots and like this black studded leather belt and a white wife beater with no bra, giving no fucks. And I couldn't believe how short she was. When I met her, I was like, oh my God, Joan Jett's so short. And she gave me an autograph, like on a scrap of paper, because in 1991, we didn't have camera phones to be able to take selfies. And I still have her autograph to this day, and it's framed and hanging up on the wall. Because she is just such an icon. I mean, just talk about a representation of female empowerment and not taking any fucking shit. Joan motherfucking Jett. Happy birthday. She is badass. Yeah, Joan Jett. Absolutely. I've been talking about these guys all night long. The Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, I want to put a plug in for it. And I also want to welcome the latest members of the Mistress Carrie. I guess it's our official fan club, but it's the Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass. So welcome Mike and Karen, who got themselves backstage passes, which you can get at patreon.com/Mistress Carrie. And as we move forward, the Backstage Pass is getting... You know, it's one of these things that when I started it, I wasn't really sure what I was going to be doing with it. And the more I use it, the more I love it. The Backstage Pass gives you exclusive access to whatever it is that I put up there. So it could be exclusive pictures. Sometimes the people that have Backstage Passes see the pictures that I show you guys in the War Room days before. I put up blog posts, tell stories. There are going to be polls up there talking about the podcast. There are going to be discount codes when we get the online store open. The people that have the Backstage Passes have been helping me compile the list for the Mistress Carrie Dictionary, which is all the terms that we use, which Kim and all the other people that are new to the War Room are going to need to be able to translate some of the shorthand that we have. So they have been working with me, leaving all of the suggestions and all the terms that we use, like blueberry cobbler and Cheez-Its and like all of that kind of stuff. And it also gives you a way to directly email me. And it's just a really cool, smaller group of people that just want more. They want to be involved with what's going on. They want to have their opinions heard. And they just kind of want to know more of the day-to-day stuff that's going on, whether it be personal stuff with me, stuff with the business, stuff with the podcast. And as I'm using Patreon more and more, it really is showing me all of the different kinds of things that I can do with it as well. And what is definitely going to happen is exclusive live stream videos. I'm working on all of that as well. A lot of the bands are doing that through their Patreon right now because they're not able to tour. And so people are getting on bands' Patreons and they're taking guitar lessons from bands and they're going through band members' closets and they're getting all of this different access. And so one of the things we're definitely going to be able to do is dig through MCHQ and a lot of the other stuff. I've been digging through and trying to organize my archives. And a lot of that is going to be through the Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass. So if you don't have it yet, you can get it. I made it incredibly affordable. And I love the fact that so many people are loving it. I also want to put the plug in that Backstage Pass number 100 is going to come with a really cool Mistress Carrie prize pack. I have been told I'm a pack rat, which is a nice way of telling me that I'm a hoarder, but I save everything. And so I'm going to put a really special package together for Backstage Pass number 100. So go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie. And when is the blueberry cobbler tier going to be available? Joe wants to know. I told you guys that if this, when I started the Backstage Pass, that if this was something that, again, is kind of a happy accident. And if it turned out to be so successful that I really needed to start breaking it down into tiers, good problem to have. And if I need to be creating more content because more people want it, good problem to have. And obviously, once the world opens back up again, it's going to open up all of the other possibilities of what we're able to do. Backstage Pass exclusive events, advertiser discount codes. So if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass and you want to get discounts from one of the sponsors, there are going to be a lot of different ways that we're going to be able to do stuff. And there's going to be a lot of exclusive content on there when I'm actually able to start going backstage at concerts again as well. So get your Backstage Pass, people, says Dave. Still waiting to meet someone in the wild while wearing my shirt, says Scott. I wear mine every now and again. Obviously, it's a little bit different because my hair is bright purple, so people kind of figure out that it's me. But I have a lot of friends that live around the country that ordered them just because we were raising money for charity. And they were like, fuck yeah, I want to get one of those. And they tell me all the time that people stop them and they're like, hey, I'm from Boston, or I used to listen to AAF all the time. Is that Mistress Carrie? That's awesome. And oh, look who's back. Oh, let me turn the pug cam back on. Hi. Do you want to come over here and say hi to everybody? You took off on us for a while and now you're back. Did you miss us? Huh? What? Wednesday. Stop. The fucking pillows. See, again, that's one of the terms that if you're new to the war room, you got to come. No, you can't sit over there. That's not where the camera is. I've given you a camera. The least you could do is sit where the camera is. The people want to see you. They're up there. See? Come here. Come here. Rah. Rah. She likes Grammy's toy. I don't really know what this thing is. It's some kind of a flamingo bird, cockatoo. I don't know what the hell it is, but she likes it. And she likes to shake it. Some of the toys she doesn't shake so violently, but this one she does. Right? Hey, careful. I'm going to give the birdie shaken baby syndrome. That's not nice. She already put a hole in it. Look at it. It's already got a hole in the stuffing. Oh my God. There's also, Wednesday content with the Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass too. So yeah, the ducking pillows, Eric. Exactly. Fuck you, Mom says. I'm sorry, but have you guys seen the TikTok videos with Tony and Ezekiel? I can't stop laughing still. Yeah, the penis pig. There's the raccoon that's got like no stuffing. It's like a pelt. Look at what she's done to his hands. It's insane. You just dropped your bone. I want that. She loves this one too, by the way. The rope, the squeaky head, right? You want to play tug of war? Tug of war is like her favorite thing. Now I'm going to be doing this for a fucking hour. Right? So anyway, there's a lot of pug stuff up with the Backstage Pass as well. So if you want to get the Backstage Pass, it's on patreon.com/Mistress Carrie. So I'm glad you came back. Can you guys hear all the grunting? Hold on, let me see. And move this microphone. Say hi. Come here. Do I need to get you a microphone now too? Huh? Can you guys hear all that slurping? Because it's really loud in my headphones. So I'm assuming I sent her a pineapple toy like that. Yeah, she loves it, Donna. I'm telling you, she plays with every toy. The grunting and squeaking, says Dave. Oh my God, the pug grunts, the snort. Okay, you guys could hear him. Because I know that there's like a 10-second delay in the comments when you guys put them in there. Yeah. A pug lapel mic. Yeah, I know. Now I gotta fucking, you know how big her ego is going to be? Now she has a camera. She's got her Instagram, which is at Wednesday the Goth Pug, by the way, if you want to follow her on Instagram. And now I'm going to have to try and find a way to put a wireless microphone on her harness. Yes, we want to hear the grunt, says Renee. Hovering at full Cheez-It now. Oh my God. Do you want to come over and say hi to everybody? Huh? She is wound up all of a sudden. I think she napped for like 45 minutes of the war room and now she's back and ferocious. Rawr. So I'm talking about Wednesday's Instagram. I got to put a plug in for mine as well, since Mommy has an Instagram too. You can find me on Twitter at Mistress Carrie. Obviously, you found the Facebook page at Mistress Carrie WAF and at Mistress Carrie WAF on Instagram. And if you can't be in the War Room live, a lot of people are starting to watch it on my YouTube channel, which is YouTube /C/Mistress Carrie. And we record all of the episodes of the War Room and then we put them up after the fact on YouTube. So if you know people that don't have a Facebook page and they want to get involved with the War Room, they can do that through the YouTube channel as well. And at Mistress Carrie on TikTok, I haven't put anything up there yet, I know, but I'm going to surprise the shit out of you guys one day now that I know that TikTok's going to be around because they're getting sold to an American company. And also Cameo at Mistress Carrie. I have been having so much fun making these Cameo videos. And I know I have a video that I need to make that's in there right now. If you guys don't know what Cameo is, it's a way for you to get custom videos made by musicians, artists, actors, athletes. And basically you go in there and you fill out all the information and then people like me will make custom videos for you to help celebrate somebody's birthday. The one that I did over the weekend, told somebody that they were going skydiving the next day for their birthday. You can celebrate a milestone, celebrate someone's retirement from the military, a gender. Ow, she just bit my hand. What are you doing? That hurts. Ow, don't do that. That's fresh. And I raised my hand like this, but I was not going to punch her. I was just squeezing my finger because it hurt. I don't want anybody taking a screen grab of that and being like, Mistress Carrie was going to punch her dog. No. Look. There's a tooth dent in my finger. God, that hurt. She doesn't usually bite that hard. She just likes nibbling on your finger. But she went a little too far. So the Cameo videos are super fun. And I love singing happy birthday to people. There's 1,000,001 different things you could get me to do on Cameo. And these custom videos, you get them straight through the app. And then you can post them on your Instagram or put them up on your Facebook page. You could text them to people. So if you ever want me to make a Cameo video for you again, Big Poppy, I think charges like $500 or $600 for his videos. Alice Cooper charges like $400 or $500. I think mine are $25. So everything that I'm doing, I'm trying to make it super affordable. But also now I don't have, the radio station job anymore. So, we're just trying to expand everything that we can and move forward. But I want to take all of you guys with me along the way. So I'm never going to, charge ridiculous amounts of money for all of that stuff. So, yeah, she thought my finger was a green bean. Exactly. Oh, that hurt. It's a good thing she didn't. How can she be teething? She's 2.5. Do dogs still teeth at 2.5? When is the teething going to stop? It's unbelievable how much she chews stuff. I cannot wait to have a reason to give a Cameo. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a lot of fun. And as the holidays come up, if you want to send a gift to somebody, maybe a transplanted New Englander, somebody that love WAF, and you really don't know what to get them for the holidays, especially people that really don't need anything, and you're not going to maybe see them, but you want to send like a remote, hey, I'm sorry, because of the fucking coronavirus, we can't be with you at Christmas. Have me do it. And you could do it on Cameo. Still the newlywed glow. Thank you. It could be good lighting too. But yes, Dolph Lundgren is 350 and he will break you. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's so many people that are up there. But I love making them. I think they're a lot of fun. So Definitely hit me up on Cameo if I hate it when they think it's a green bean, says Scott. That's freaking hilarious. So yeah, hit me up on Cameo. I love making them. And obviously, if you want to jump on and get yourself a Mistress Carrie backstage pass, you can do that on Patreon. But as always, the War Room is every Tuesday night at 8:30. It's free, it's live, it's interactive. I absolutely love it. And you know what's amazing is that we're doing all of this great stuff in the middle of a pandemic. Can you imagine how much fun this is all going to be when we can actually get together and do stuff together? When we can go to shows and we can hang out at bars and have concerts and charity events and stuff actually in person. Yes, David, love hurts for sure. So if we're already having such a good time and spending so much quality time together and really enjoying all of the stuff that we got going on now, just wait and see where we're at this time next year. Because, you know, March 14th, I was standing here in the War Room for the first time talking into my cell phone. And now I have a fucking pug cam and a crazy dog that, yeah. What are you doing? Has her own camera and her own Instagram. So look at how far we've come. At least we're not just using the internet for cat videos. Like, we're using it for pug videos. It's a little bit better, right? Did you guys see that Mike Shue got a new dog, by the way? Mike Shue got a new dog named Baby. Oh my God, she's so beautiful. He rescued her. And she's amazing. And I begged him to set up an Instagram and he said no. And then I told him that when we get the online store up and Wednesday's area of the online store and all the dog stuff starts to come out, that I'll make sure that I send his dog all the stuff. And he was like, please don't. And I'm like, oh, it's happening. Is that a Deadpool? Yes. She's eating Deadpool. See? She loves him. It has like chewable hands and feet. Like it's a dog toy and it has like rubber bandy arms and stuff, but she is annihilating the hands and feet. They're like, they got nubs on them and stuff. But yeah, Wednesday is kicking Deadpool's ass right now. So there you go. Let's see. The original get together with vintage concert t-shirts, hopefully still in the plans. Eric, as soon as we can make it happen. I mean, yeah, it's going to happen. Too funny. Well, it will never die. I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking that eventually she's going to look. It's even got the swords on the back. It's freaking hilarious. He regenerates. He'll be good, says Scott. So Mike Shue's dog is adorable and is a kind of dog I can't even pronounce. It's a really strange breed of dog that I had to Google and is awesome. So kicks Deadpool's ass better than Cable. Let's not talk about his nub. That was a rough part of the movie. Wednesday does need a Stretch Armstrong doll, Eric. You are totally right. Beer and shot glasses. Yes, we are working on cocktails in the War Room barware as well. It's all coming in the online store. So thank you guys for joining me each and every Tuesday night at 8:30 here for a cocktail. Cocktails in the War Room. I love you guys. I hope you know that. Wednesday loves you too. I really do love the split screen camera so you guys can watch her and me at the same time. I should have done this a long time ago. I don't know why I didn't. I will see you guys next week. New episode 16 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live at midnight. Cheers, guys. I love you. I'll see you next week.